Hello, I'm Andrew Kwan. Today I'm going to be talking about sharing your personal narrative, sharing your personal story, how to write a biography. This is one of the videos as part of the Organist Launchpad, brought to you by the Royal Canadian College of Organists. In my career as an artist manager for over 30 years, I have read, written, edited hundreds of biographies. As an artist manager, I work with the artists and often need to update and keep the biographies current. And through my years of being an artist manager, I'm fortunate to be a lecturer at the University of Toronto, at the Glenn Gould School, and most recently at Western University, otherwise known as the University of Western Ontario. And for those of my former students, they will always remember that my first assignment is always how to write a biography. The purpose of a biography is something which we all think we know, but is that the only purpose the biography exists? Like many aspects of society, things have changed. Society's preferences have changed. And as a result of that, the biography needs to change. The biography is a living document. It should never be out of date. It should be something that can be easily updated. And it should also remind or invite the reader to get to know us a little bit better. So, what is the purpose of a biography? We have to start by thinking about that. Yes, of course, it needs to promote you. And as an emerging organist, an emerging young artist, we tend to just take our resume and put it into prose, and voila, we have a biography. But that tends to be like a resume, pretty dry and boring. A biography needs to sell you. So we often think, oh, it's in the printed program. But someone needs to decide why they are coming to hear you, why they are going to spend their disposable income. And take their disposable time to come attend your performance. The biography should share with the reader something about you, something which I am not going to be able to find on an internet search. You may put down program notes all you want. Likely sitting in your concert with my smartphone, I will find out more than what you can share. So the biography has to tell me something that I'm not going to find. Tell me information about why you're programming that concert. Tell me information as to why, at the end of the day, I would like to sit down and have a coffee with you, so to speak. It needs to convince me that getting to know you is part of my support to hear you perform. And more importantly, that biography in the future needs to convince someone to hire you. And the competition for available artists and organists is huge. The opportunities are limited. So that biography has to have a wow factor. It has to be more than just a performance connection. There has to be a human connection. And that is the premise, the foundation of how I'm going to share how to write a biography. So, in your first paragraph, the number of first paragraphs that I've read, we always start off with, born in a city, so-and-so started music lessons at the age of 7. Hey, we're humans, we're all born somewhere. And as a musician pursuing a career in music, we all started music somewhere. If you were born on the 747 flying over the Atlantic, that's a wow. But the reality is, you're born in Vancouver, you're born in Regina, you're born in Ottawa, you're born in Halifax. Okay, kudos to your parents. What wow factor can you share with me? What information? Did you win something recently? Did you perform in a beautiful venue? Did you collaborate with a well-known artist? Did you just release a recording? Give me a wow factor. Did a wonderful newspaper just give you an outstanding review? So, a wow factor is something which you want to make sure that the reader will read and continue reading your biography. I've just indicated through example that your location of birth and when you start a music lesson doesn't really mean anything. What we cannot find is your connection. Share with us information that tells a story, that tells us why you're interested in the instrument that you're pursuing or the style of music that you're pursuing. It can no longer simply be you did your master's degree here, you did your doctorate degree there, and you studied with X, Y, Z, and you've attended a few master classes. That first paragraph, and if we can talk about the structure of a biography, ideally a biography is minimum 3 paragraphs, if not 4. That first paragraph has to be a wow. What have you done recently that's been successful? What are some of the awards you've won? What are some of the amazing performance venues that you've performed in? Who are some of the amazing artists that you might have had collaborated with? That first paragraph needs to share something that's going to grab someone's attention right off the top. And from there, we move to the second paragraph. A second paragraph should, in this day and age, and this is where a biography is a living document that changes with your experience in life, with your activities in life. Your second paragraph can be that personal narrative, that personal information that you wish to share with people. Who are some of your influences? Where did your early idea of wishing to be a performer come from? Description of musical influences, how you approach music. These are things which I will never be able to find on an internet search. So this is where you can really personalize your information. Why the organ? Why your specific instruments? In the second paragraph, what can your audiences, what can your reader expect if they are going to attend a concert of yours? What are you going to bring to the audiences that might be a little bit different? What type of repertoire is specific to you? Why do you have an attachment to that style of repertoire? And you can put in some information about your personal philosophy, your interpretive choices. So this is where, in the past decade, I've seen the biggest change in artist biography writing, in that we're really telling a personal story now. And then, in the third paragraph, is where, of course, there has to be some level of metrics to prove that, as much as this is a tough conversation to have, that you are more interesting than the next person. Again, going back to what is the purpose of a biography? A biography needs to promote you, but it needs to sell you. You want to be hired by somebody. You want somebody to be convinced that they wish to spend their $20, $25, $30, $50 to come and attend your performance. So in this third paragraph, highlight your achievements, highlight your career performances, highlight your awards, your recognitions, past recordings. And it is tough, I admit. Even as an artist manager, I find that I can write biographies on behalf of artists very well. But when it comes time to writing one for myself, it's always challenging. You need to dig deep. You need to think about it. It may seem insignificant to you. Let someone else decide that. So in that third paragraph, write about all the things that you think are a major highlights in your career. But show the audiences that you're fresh and things are continuing to happen. Write about upcoming events. Write about your future plans, your future projects, recording projects, releases, repertoire of focus, your projects that you're developing, collaborations that you might be doing. Put that into that biography so that people have a sense that there's movement in your career, that things are moving forward. But at the same time, in this paragraph, you can highlight some of the past events. Keep it sweet, keep it concise, keep it important, And also sort of plan your timeline as far as how far back do you go. Obviously, if you were an international organ competition winner from the early 2000s, and today is 2023, of course, you put that type of information. But perhaps you being your high school soloist, it's time to move on. So, not knowing the viewership in this and not knowing your personal experience, you need to gauge that yourself and balance that type of information. In the final paragraph, of course, we need to show that out of respect, you clearly did not pursue this performance career, this career by yourself. Do indicate at that point a bit of that personal statistics, if you want, where you were born, where you started your music lesson. I'm not saying that information is irrelevant. Quite often people feel a connection when they realize, oh, you're from the same city I am in, or, we can obviously add that information in, just not as the wow factor to start off your biography. So in your final paragraph of your biography, add that personal information. Where are you from? Where did you study? The schools that you attended, the degrees that you have earned, the teachers, those who have done master classes with, and also show a bit of humor, show a bit of personality, show a bit of quirkiness. Add some fun facts. Perhaps the complete Klingon language, or you have the biggest collection of antique espresso makers, or you have once competed in Ironman competition. Add some of those fun facts. At the end of the day, as I said, it's a living document. It is not a showcase museum piece. You want to make sure that your biography speaks to the reader. You want that biography to connect with the reader and sort of tell the reader why they want to get to know you. Of course, as I mentioned, that 30 years ago, we would have printed that. Today, chances are that biography is done in a PDF format, if not available on your website. So make sure the cosmetics, I call this the cosmetics. And at the end of the day, if we think about all the other types of print media that is used to attract commercialism, and that's a very harsh word to use when promoting culture, and I respect that. But there still has to be a level, because at the end of the day, we are vying for someone's wallet space, we are vying for someone's mind time, we're hoping that they will spend their disposable income and their free time to attend your event. So your material, and that first piece, that first connection piece, is your biography, has to look fantastic as well. When you're printing up a biography, and this is just one of many formats, make sure your name is at the top of that paper. So Joe Smith, Jane Doe, and then your title, which is organist. Make sure it looks good. Make sure your fonts are consistent and legible. Make sure you don't write one big paragraph, that you do break them up into 3 or 4 paragraphs, depending on your experience, depending on the amount of content you can draft together. Make sure it fits onto one page. And last but not least, the cycle of our industry in classical music, in Western European classical music, tends to be a booking cycle of anywhere from 6 to 18 months in advance. Therefore, make sure you put the dates. Perhaps you don't need month, day, year, but at the bottom of your biography, in brackets, just put down the month and year, so that the reader realizes that, oh, it's, this biography is a year old. Maybe we can ask for that, a newer biography. And how would they get that information? Make sure that your contact information, your name, your instruments, your email address, your telephone number, In this day and age of digital connection, the idea of using a street address is not necessary anymore. But if you are comfortable with it, by all means, put it down. But the least that you should always have is your name, your instruments, your email address, if you have a website. Because again, what is the purpose of this biography? What is the purpose of sending this piece of paper out? You're hoping that someone will make contact with you. You're hoping that it will draw attention to you. And you're hoping that it will bring more people to connect with what you are doing. So, thank you for listening to How to Write a Biography. Join us in additional videos of the Organist Launchpad. I'm Andrew Kwan.